Hi, Kelly.
Hi, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I am good, thanks.
Thank you for joining us on Perfect Child, or thank you for joining me.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to talk. I mean, we had a little bit of a talk and I'm excited to kind of like go a little bit bigger with it.
Yes, and deeper. All right, let me start with your bio. Kelly Raleigh is a mother and wife. She's been a life coach for teens and parents for over 20 years. She knows the challenges of new momness, feeling scattered, and as a professional, wanting to up her A game. Me too, I want to up my A game. Lately, she has found this world to have more harshness and less kindness in it while people deal with their unresolved issues, hers included. Her intention with Kind Brain is to switch those levels. Kelley has facilitated leadership retreats, coached groups and individuals, and produced local and international volunteer projects with the focus of supporting young people in being their best selves. Through these, she has witnessed amazing results, but not until she did her first Neurooptimal session did she see such huge potential for passively breaking through trauma, depression, anxiety, and anger in ways that significantly build on that emotional work. That sounds really interesting. And I think I forgot to say at the beginning that we're with Kelly Raleigh with Kind Brain.
Thank you. I didn't even notice it.
This sounds really interesting to me, obviously. What is a neurooptimal session?
A neurooptimal session specifically is indirect neurofeedback. And I mean, more and more people are doing neurofeedback these days, but most people only know the direct kind of neurofeedback, which will manipulate the brain and or work on just specific areas of the brain. And all of that is okay and fine. I personally like to do things with no or few side effects as possible. So you listen to music. You have 2 sensors on your head and 3 sensors on your ear. It's very minimal. And you listen to music. And throughout the music, it's a half hour, and throughout the music, you hear these skips, like a record skipping. And that is, I mean, you're only hearing like a very small portion of the skips because the skips are kind of happening continuously, but you hear it and that's your brain getting the feedback. Like it's literally seeing what it's doing, how it's relating to patterns. I mean, the brain knows what it's doing. We're just helping clear out the static so that the brain can be more efficient and organized. And so that's a specific neurooptimal session. With Kind Brain, I add an intention setting piece. So before people hop on the machine, we look at the intention, the limiting beliefs, the forgiveness around that and what that means, and then the gratitude. And so that there's a there's a short process before people hop on the machine. And so even when people rent the machine from me, we still do that process if they want.
Okay, so that's all within one session that they come to see you. And then do you talk to them before meeting them to find out what's going on with their life and how they're feeling, their general sort of overlook?
I mean,
Before
that
you-
happens in the session, right? Like either I've met them before they come in and they've told me everything that's going on, and then now they're coming in to do this, or they're, you know, unleashing all of that information in the beginning. So like the first hour with me is roughly like a session or like an hour-long session because, we're kind of getting, I personally don't like to stay in my story. And so I encourage people not to stay in their story and to move through it. But
Uh-huh.
obviously, there's context that needs to happen. And so, I understand like what it is that they're going through. And some people just like, they just want to have more focus, sleep better, have kind of go to the next creative level. And some people are transitioning through a divorce, transitioning through like the loss of a loved one, like I had, like, there's so many different ways that people are using this.
It's so fascinating that we can actually work on our brain and it doesn't have any adverse side effects at all.
No, because we're not trying to get it to do something. So it's not like we're trying to get it to, undo an addiction or to undo something. It's simply giving the brain the information like, hey, this is what you're doing. And then the brain goes, oh, I do want to avoid the pain. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to create a new neural pathway. So it's just going to do what it knows to do, but it's just helping take the static and the craziness of our society, out, of its way so that it can function and work better with the central nervous system and get everybody out of fight or flight, because somebody's in fight or flight at some point in the day these days, because it's crazy out there right now for many different reasons, right? So this just supports that process. So it's a more graceful process.
You're not doing any programming, because you can actually send this machine to somebody, they turn it on, and based on the work that you do personally through Kind Brain, that helps them to shift their mind and their brain in a way that supports them in a customized way.
Kind of. I wouldn't say customized, because the music is the same. The music is from NeurOptimal, so it's designed specifically for the machine. The part that I add in is really helping them let go of things in their body, because if we're holding on to, it's mostly judgments that we're holding on to ourselves. So whether it's a trauma, whether it's a stressor, whether it's I just got mad at my husband, we hold those as judgments in our bodies. And so by doing the particular kind of forgiveness that I do, people are able to move through that, release it from their body. Obviously, it's not just a one and done kind of thing. We're always evolving and changing, and different things come up. So it's kind of priming the pump a little bit, just to kind of get in that space and be more relaxed. But it's not necessary to do that before NeurOptimal. And so the music is the same every time. Most people, even myself, I hear something different every single time, and I've been doing it for 2.5 years. Most people fall asleep during the session. So you're not always hearing everything, but if you're awake at different points, you're like, oh, I didn't know that there was a woman singing there or whatever. And the skips are going to all be different, because your brain is different every day. So your skips aren't going to come at the same point throughout the music, if that makes sense.
Your brain is making the skip.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Because that's the shift. That's where it's the shift is coming in.
Okay, so let's say, what if we were to do NeurOptimal without your input, without any intention, gratitude, all that, forgiveness?
It would be the same thing. Because I'm giving the tools, so now when they're not doing NeurOptimal, they've left the session, they can actually do that practice throughout the day. So I'm just giving tools, and the NeurOptimal session is going to do what it does.
Okay, so when you use this tool, the NeurOptimal tool, your brain knows where it needs work. And so that's why it's able to do on its own, and you just listen to it and it just does it. And you would walk away from a session just feeling better.
Yeah.
And optimizing your brain.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Is there
One woman said it was a spa day for the brain. She just felt so relaxed after. That was my experience. Some people get energized after. Mm-hmm. And you're focused and you've got things you want to do. I mean, it just, everybody has a different brain.
Right. And it's whatever your brain needs.
Yeah.
Now, are you as a person able to acquire that same sort of brain optimization without the NeurOptimal machine?
I mean, I think that's a relative question and answer, right? Because, if you've got a really solid meditation practice and you've got tools that work for you, I mean, sure, that can really benefit. This is going to also work with the central nervous system. So you're literally taking the static out of the day or the years or however long you've been in the static of constant emails and texts and can't leave your house and all those things. Yeah. So it helps it in a more grounded behind the scenes way. So sure, I mean, you could probably go along your life and be fine without doing it. Yeah. But if you really want to move to that next level of letting go of certain like triggers and stresses, and like seeing that you're reacting less to your husband, your boss, you're sleeping better, you're just kind of seeing things more as like information versus reacting. I mean, then yeah, you're going to want to use NeurOptimal because it's going to be like an easy passive thing to do. So
Okay. Is it portable enough that you can just show us what it looks like?
that is a great question. I just had a home visit yesterday, and so it's packed away, but yes, I can. Yeah. I don't have it on right now, but this is like the size of it, and you don't even need the keyboard. I don't know why I have it on there actually, but it's just a Surface tablet. And so the software is on here, the sensors connect, and then there's like a tiny little iPhone size box that that connects the sensors to the tablet, and like, that's it.
That's awesome.
So that's how I can do home visits, or that's how I can ship it easily to people, and so they can rent it, or whatever. So
yeah, because people can rent it and then do a session with you remotely, and they have their own little tablet. Could somebody take that on the plane and use it if they had, if they're like fear of flying?
100%.
Take that on and
yeah, it's just a tablet, so they're just gonna like, you carry it on with you and you check it, or I wouldn't check it actually. I would carry it on with you, and then yeah, you can use it. It's very simple. Yeah.
Very cool. Okay, so normally if somebody is going to rent it from you, what would you recommend? How long would they rent it for? How many sessions?
Well, it's a 30-day rental. So you have it for 30 days and it's unlimited sessions. So especially if you have a family, that's the most economical, because you can do a session every day if you wanted to on every single family member. So if you've got a couple of kids, a husband, a wife, like grandma and grandpa, like it's in your home, use it.
Oh,
so it's unlimited. So you've got 30 days to use it, as often as you want. Most people usually rent for like 2 or 3 months at a time, because they've really kind of like gotten into the flow of it. And you become like, okay, like I would like additional support right now. Or for me, like I wanted to get to 20 sessions as soon as possible, just to kind of get that to be my baseline.
Okay, so you're getting to 20 sessions. Were you doing 2 a day? Or were you just doing one over a course?
Well, when I was doing that, I didn't own one yet. I was using somebody else's. And so I only had access like a week here, a week there. And so it took like a couple of months to get to 20 sessions. You can do 2 a day. I now do 2 back to back when I do a session, just because I'm at the point where it's like, I do a session like once a month, but I'll do doubles. And so, I mean, I've been doing this as a business and on myself for, it'll be 3 years in August. And, I had a very traumatic spring and summer, and this, along with my meditation practice, just really got me through everything. So I started upping it again. Right. So it's like, okay, I'm now going to like go back to like doing this a little bit more frequently. And now I've, in the last couple of months, I pulled back a little bit. So just kind of ebbs and flows.
Yeah. And how many do you have available to rent? If people wanted to rent it, how many people can rent from you?
I have 1 rental myself, but I have access to like 10 others. So like, sometimes I've got multiple machines out, and some months I just have 1 machine out. So it just kind of like, just depends. But yeah, I have access to a few others. So like, it's a long wait list that, people get access to it. So like the access is easy. Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, because I feel like there's a lot of people, especially now, who are having a hard time getting out. They're just feeling a lot of anxiety. And gosh, if they could rent one of these from you and go through a couple of sessions and then just be able to do it on their own, it could really, have you seen results like that, where people just are so fearful to leave their homes, and now they're using this and it helps to put them in a better mindset?
Prior to all of this, the lockdowns and everything, I was actually working with a woman who was in her 70s, and she was like newly diagnosed with Alzheimer's. And she was getting to that point where she was like, I was scared to leave. She was very social. Everyone knew her. Everyone loved her. She was, she had all of her bridge days and her book clubs and all that. And she started her son who brought her was like, she's kind of become a hermit. Like she needs to get out. And after, I think it was 3 sessions, she came in one day and she was like, I have my life back. she's like, my friends like are so shocked that they're seeing me again. She's like, I'm out again. And she's like, I haven't slept through the night since I was a kid. I'm sleeping through the night. And I am like out, like seeing people again. And that to me was a testament, like get like this is what we are designed to do as humans, is connect with other people.
Yeah.
And so if being on a machine a handful of times, 20 times, whatever it is, like gets you reconnected with people, I mean, how can I get this into everybody's hands?
Yes.
I had like a 25-year-old who, he wasn't like closing himself off, but he worked a lot and he was pretty shy and he just didn't feel comfortable around people as much. And after a couple of sessions, he was also like, I'm noticing that I'm talking to like, people like at the grocery store. He's like, I'm chatting with people. He's like, I'm seeing my friends again that I haven't seen since high school. And I'm like, yes, exactly. Because you're getting out of your own way. Like we get into these like ruts and like, then we have this paranoia about ourselves or this anxiety or whatever it is. And then all of a sudden you're like under a cloud and you can't get out of it. And it's like, this can support you getting out of it, Right. So it is a very specific algorithm where the brain gets to see what it's doing. And so, but people can buy this, people can rent it. And then there's a lot of brain trainers around the world. So this is accessible worldwide. And the creators of this are two clinical psychologists, Dr. Valdine Brown and Dr. Susan Brown. They're now husband and wife, but they made this with the intention of having it available to the average person. So they want it in everybody's hands, but like, their thing, not like
managed for sure. Right. Because you don't want people just using it without knowing what they're doing. And age range, you could use it on the youngest person you can use it on.
Babies to like elderly. I mean, I've had definitely a handful of like elderly clients, and I started using it on my son when he was 3. He's only done a little bit. I mean, but you can use it on babies. I just haven't, but I know that people have. But I mean, then you gotta, like they can grab it. So it's tricky, it's like, I wouldn't just put it on a baby because you've got like the cords and they can pull at everything. And then like, but if you really needed, like if there was like a surgery that they need to be recovering from, if there was like a traumatic brain injury of some sort, there was something that happened in the delivery that gave them some, brain trauma, I would 100% use it, but not just to do it on a baby or a small child.
Right, just because you think it's fun.
Yeah, exactly. It's a thing.
I feel like I'm hearing a lot of people, old elderly people, going through dementia and Alzheimer's. So this must be a really good tool for that. Anytime you feel like your elderly parent is, experiencing memory loss and things like that, it's probably really useful.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, I also encourage people to do like a heavy metal detox with that, because some studies have found that it's heavy metals in the brain that are also contributing to the issue. I'm obviously not a doctor, so that would just be here's information, figure it out and talk with your doctor. But yeah, it definitely helps because it's going to like be creating new neural pathways, and it's going to be stimulating like and energizing the brain so it can work how it was designed to work. Yeah.
Okay, so what can people expect when they book an appointment with you and they come into your office?
Well, I mean, I would love for them to ideally want to like do all 3 like pieces of technology, right? So we would start with the red light, which is 10 to 20 minutes. And it, most women like to use do it on their face because it helps, rebuild collagen, right? But I mean, if you've got like a knee injury or like a rash somewhere, like you would want to put it on that because that's what's going to support it and help, re-energize the cell and the mitochondria and just rebuild that area. Then you would go into the sauna, the infrared sauna, which is a beautiful, non-toxic, completely non-toxic wooden sauna, and do that for a half hour. And now detox everything out, the heavy metals, just all of that stuff that's in the air and the water and the food, right? And then come in and sit with me and like this is my office. So this is where it is. Like people sit on the couch. This is the chair that people do the session in.
Beautiful.
Everything's relaxing. Everything's very quiet and very just peaceful. And we would do the intention setting exercise, like, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes. It just depends on how long people talk. And then how much, like if we've been working a long time together, or if it's new, like sometimes that kind of ebbs and flows too. And then they hop on the machine on NeurOptimal and do that for 30 minutes. And then, I mean,
And then they're a new
that's kind
person.
of a lot of my mornings. So like, I think it's an amazing morning and it's an amazing day, but yeah. Yeah.
That
and then
sounds
people walk out and they're
amazing.
just like, this was a spa day. Cause it is, it's like
Yes.
your body and your brain. Like
You're basically detoxing. You're not only detoxing, but you're refreshing.
you're refreshing and letting go of things that are not serving you. Like just all those judgments that we are holding, like you're letting go of all of that because it's not necessary to carry it. It doesn't, one thing I learned from my spiritual teacher, it does not make you a better person to feel guilty about something or carry something around with you. And like that stuck with me. Just a little side note about me, I grew up Catholic. So like, you got to feel guilty about everything, right? Yeah. Got to feel guilty. And once I heard that, I was like, oh, that's right. I don't have to do that to be a good person, you know?
So I really like the idea of the detoxing and all 3 treatments as sort of like a spa package. So if somebody were to come in for one day of like a spa package, you get the infrared, the sauna, and the NeurOptimal. How much would that be?
It would be $225.
$225.
Yeah.
I mean, like
For
that
all
would be
and just, I know.
that would be like an awesome spa day gift for
I agree.
$225. I think that would be better than like a seaweed wrap.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. And like in the I'm not going to show you the other place where the sauna and the red light is, but it's in like this actually very large bathroom. So you have like a toilet and a sink and a shower in there. So you can do all of your showering, like everything's completely contained in there for the physical, biohacking piece. And yeah, I mean, there's trees around here where I live. Like it's a lovely time. It is a spa day when you come here.
It's a quiet retreat for yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. Renting it is $1,000 a month. And like I said, it's unlimited and you still get access to me. So if you're doing sessions every day, obviously I'm only meeting with you once a week, but you still get the support from me. And like, you obviously have text support with me. So you can text, hey, there's an issue, or how do I turn this on again? Or, is this in the right place on the head? Those kinds of things. But we do the intention setting exercise. So it's $1,000 a month for that. And it's as many sessions as you want to fit in for your family. And then people can also purchase the machine if they want as well, and then have it, maybe even run a business themselves, maybe even just get it and like share it between like your sister and brother-in-law, and like you guys just have, like, there's so many ways to just have access to it,
Yeah. It seems like it's not too difficult to run a business. If you own it, it's literally like come over to my house and use it, and you charge them however much, because now you know how to use it. Cool. Yeah. And then did you say you host kind brain parties as well?
Yeah. So I call them Ignite Your Life parties. So I offer the red light and then like a mini NeurOptimal session. So like people can do 15 minutes. I still sit with them and we do the intention setting thing just so they can get like an idea of what it is to like work with me and like what I do. And so then they get a shortened NeurOptimal session. And yeah, people usually then sign on and like want to do like the full thing because like now they've experienced like the space and like what it is, like the red light is warm and soothing, all those things. So yeah, I do that like every few months, and it's small. It's only like 6 or 7 people that come because I want it to be like an intimate, like focused day. But yeah.
And how do people find out about that?
Really, everything I've been doing is word of mouth. Like I'm on Instagram, so I'm pretty sure it's kind.brain for Instagram, but I'm on Instagram, and but it really is like a friend tells a friend, because once you've had the experience, you're like, oh, this was really great for me. I think you would love X, Y, and Z, or, you are working on this, like, she's been supportive with this. So yeah, word of mouth has been like my easiest way.
And then if somebody, now that, let's say somebody heard our interview and they're like, oh, I want to get a couple of friends together and do like a kind brain party, can they contact you directly? And
100%. Yes. The website is thekindbrain.com, which I'm sure you'll have on this interview, but
underneath.
my cell phone's on there, my email's on there. Yeah. Like, yes, get your girlfriends or your husband or like whatever, and like come and like bring people, and we can 100% host and do all of that. Yes. That's
a great idea. Hosting it for husbands, like a whole husband party, and they come. I already know who I would invite.
Well, I can come up to you and we can do a kind brain party up there.
Okay.
Yeah, like this isn't just for women, right? Like it's
Right.
not just for women. This is not like, oh, I'm going to the spa and like, no, this is like for everybody. I work on
Yes.
teenage boys, like all of these, different kinds of people can benefit from it because you have a brain or you have a body. Like that's it.
Yeah.
All you need,
Yeah, and just like what you say, the world seems to be a little bit more harshness than it is kindness, that we could really, kindness starts with ourselves.
I
So
think
if we can
100%
treat ourselves kind, then it emanates out.
And they say like hurt people hurt people. And I guess the one thing, and I've posted about this before, like the whole, like, just be kind. And it's like, well, yes, be kind, but like, don't just be kind to be fake. Like, how can we get to the authentic kindness? Like, what is the issue that I'm seeing that I'm responding to in an angry manner? And like having the awareness within myself to go, this is not about her. This is about me. She did not make me upset. I am upset because of X, Y, and Z. And so, the intention behind this work, and really what I've done for my entire professional career, is to like encourage not only myself, but everybody that I work with to like get to the root of it. What is the issue so that you can resolve it? So then you can move through the world being genuinely kind,
Yeah, because that's what matters. It's not that like outward kindness, but really genuinely wanting to be kind to somebody. And it all starts with us. I feel like the Neurooptimal session, I think, is so appropriate for adolescents right now. If people would, I don't know if they want to get together, or, schools renting it out. I don't know. But
that was my whole goal before everything got shut down, was to actually start getting these machines in schools. That's obviously a whole other ballgame at this point. Yeah, when I work with the teenagers, like, it's funny, it's actually mostly been teenage boys. Like, they even dig it. They're just like, whoa, like, this is cool. And one mom, she's doing it as well. But she's been bringing her 13-year-old son in, and she's like, even if he won't admit it, I'm seeing the shift in him, and he's making new friends now. Like, he was starting to like kind of get into the like the friend thing, because obviously that age friends are a big deal. And he's now making better friends and like newer friends. And it's like, oh my God, like that just makes my heart sing, because like that's the point. We should all be gravitating towards the people that are good for us and that we can help feel good, and all those things.
yeah, gosh, like a school could actually rent one of these machines and use it, especially now, given that class sizes are quite small now. If they were in person classes and they were to use it on each child.
Yeah. Or, if you just had a few and like everybody was scheduled throughout the week to just do like one a week. I mean, and the teachers, like it would shift so much significantly in that school. I know.
We have to find a school
plan. How are we doing that? I have one school that's reached out to me. It's good. It's like an alternative school, and it's just like beginning, and they want to do that. It hasn't come to fruition yet because the school's not up and running yet. But yeah,
we need to, because Pasadena is its own school.
Mm-hmm.
We can't go to LAUSD because it's a behemoth, but like smaller school districts, we start with like one school, or we should start with like a private school.
Yeah, like all of my work with teenagers over the years, was so powerful. And I loved it. It was one of my favorite things that I got to do professionally, is work with teenagers in many different capacities. But yeah, getting this in the hands of those families, I mean, is really just kind of like where it's at. I mean, it can just shift so much. And so, yeah, I'm open to any ideas that you have.
Let's brainstorm on that a little bit more offline.
Yes.
Is there anything that you want to add?
I think we covered like all the bases. I think we covered everything. Yeah. Thank you so much for talking with me about all of this and sharing everything that you did. And yeah, this was good to connect.
Thank you. Thank you for all of this. And let's get you out there as a spa day for people, because just it's so necessary.
Exactly.
More kindness, less harshness.
Exactly. That's a t-shirt. More kindness, less harshness. Exactly.
Yes. All right, Kelley, I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thanks so much.
Enjoy your day.
You too. Bye.
Bye.